Oh yeah! That's me best Macho Man Randy Savage impression.
Something more like Jim Duggan.
Save that for later. I'll save it.
I saved it for there. I was practicing in the shower. Oh yeah!
I don't doubt you either.
Pillowcase.
Oh, let me check. Let me check we're live. Looks good to me. It looks good to me.
You've done it enough times. You should have confidence in it now.
I'd never have confidence in us, to be honest. So we're
nearly hitting amateur status now.
Evening, Hammer. It's nice for you to join us this week.
You upgraded your camera, Barry.
No, but it does look a lot clearer, doesn't it?
Yeah,
It's exactly the same.
Just give it a clean, have you? Give it a wipe.
Exactly the same laptop, exactly the same setup, but yeah. No, not my forte, these tech stuff.
Good. Just that mic sometimes dips out, doesn't it? For me. I don't know.
Okay, I'll try and keep it a bit closer.
Right, let's get our ugly mugs off here, right?
Yeah.
Bingo.
First things first, the FFOP League. Oh, hang on. We've got a question to start us off already.
Straight off the bat.
Straight off the bat. I'm going to have to take my glasses off. I cannot see fucking thing.
And you saw it.
Here we go. All in one show. Would you trade Lamar Jackson for James Cook and DeAndre Swift? I'm down bad on running backs right now. Who isn't? Waiver wire running backs are also cooked.
What are the QBs have you got though? That's an interesting point, isn't it?
Yeah, what would the plan at the QB be? Would you stream a QB every week, or you've got someone on the bench?
I mean, assuming one QB league, there's normally a few people floating around those sort of team positions that are usable, week in, week out. There you go. He's got the main man, hasn't he, Russell?
Russell Wilson. I don't mind Russell Wilson, me.
Dangerous.
To be fair to Russ, he's actually been all right this year. He's been let down. He's been especially in that last game against the Dolphins. Sutton had one go right through his hands. And then Brandon Johnson, and there was another one as well where they got touchdowns called back on penalties as well. So he probably should have had a better game than what he actually did in the end. To answer his original question, I'd do the trade and roll with Russell Wilson, no bother.
Yeah, I would. You've got Judy coming back, Sutton. You've got that
Marvin Mims, who we'll speak about later on.
I mean, I was hoping, we might get through a show without going too heavy into the Broncos, but we're 3 minutes in and we're already dissecting the absolute massacre last week.
Yeah,
but it's not all Russ's fault though. I think that's what something to take. He's actually playing okay. I think he's been badly let down by lots of people around him.
Yeah, mainly the defense.
A defense trash, absolutely trash. For all the years, they haven't had a good quarterback since Manning, and have been rubbish since Manning. But they've always at least had a prickly defense and made a tight game of it. Now the defense is gone. So yeah,
the good thing from a fantasy point of view, though, is with the defense being so bad, their offense is always going to have to keep pressing, always going to have to keep throwing, keep trying to put up points.
Keep chasing,
so from a fantasy point of view, the defense being garbage is it's not a bad thing.
No, but getting a 70 burger put on you is not ideal, is it?
No, but I mean, if you were capable of doing that and the Broncos refused you a job interview, you'd want to get your own back on them, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Next question, Blue Crew. Trade away Godwin and DJ Moore for Burrows. PPR.
I think
mean,
he'd have
Godwin and Moore are not pulling any trees up, are
Keep
they?
these questions coming because we love them. That's what we're there for.
They're not pulling up any trees, Godwin and Moore, are they? Godwin's, obviously, we said last week, seems to be playing second fiddle to Evans, and obviously Baker Mayfield is back to doing what Baker Mayfield does. I think the concern with Burrow is his fitness, isn't it, Blandy? I don't know.
Yeah, his calf.
If you watched that game the other day, he was very, very limited his mobility. He's standing in the pocket, shotgun snap, and chucking it quickly short. He's not wheeling out. He's not even sort of making any movements for handoffs. No, that was quite concerning for me from a Burrow perspective.
Yeah, Burrow's ceiling is a hell of a lot lower at the moment than what it would normally be. So you would have to be, I think, ridiculously strong. I think Godwin and DJ Moore would have to be two bench receivers for you to consider doing that move. Although I'm not particularly high on Godwin or Moore, I just don't think in the immediate term the upside is there with Joe Burrow.
No, you're trading two probably receivers who are good but not firing for a QB who's also not really firing. You're doing a bit of a 2-for-1, aren't you? And you obviously mixing matching positions there, so it depends on the makeup of your roster really, but there isn't a big win anywhere. None of those three players are looking like they're gonna win your matchups in the next couple of weeks, are they?
No, I don't think so,
no. Your thoughts on stashing Josh Downs?
Well, he's a man who I've got him on my little radar. His percentage share is pretty high, isn't it, Blandy? He's in the 20% as a target share behind Pittman on a quite a limited roster of receivers at the Colts.
Yeah, he's emerged as the number 2 target behind Pittman, and yeah, as Ant points out, there he's only rostered in 24% of leagues. So yes, he was a very highly productive rookie at North Carolina. Early declare. He's one of these rookies that you would expect is going to improve, become more prominent in fantasy as you go through the season. So yeah, he was on my list of players to add that we'll get to later on. But yeah, Josh Downs, very encouraging start so far.
So get him stashed, Blue Crew.
Get him stashed. Right, keep these questions coming. Oh, I'm going to itch you back there.
Are we going to start at the start, or are we going to start? Are we going to
I'm going to start at the start.
Well, we need to talk about our emphatic victory last week, don't we?
Absolutely.
This is serious stuff.
After being 0-2, I think it's all about time we gloat with a absolute magnanimous performance in a really, really low scoring game.
Get ready for this score. But bear in mind, you're watching our podcast here. And this is our team there with the mighty score of 81.84 points.
Getting victory!
You can only beat what's put in front of you. And Ryan didn't do the gritty last week, did he?
Ryan did not do the gritty last week, unfortunately for him, no. We knocked him off top place.
Was he top of the league as well, was he? Oh, What a shame.
Yeah.
I did happen to notice, though, he's got a reasonably good team, and if he'd have picked the right team, he would have beat us, wouldn't he? I don't know if it's his decision or he's been influenced by family members, but I think he tried to get a little bit clever with Lions' second string wide receiver, and is it Reynolds, and benched D-Hop. And if he'd have played D-Hop, he'd have won.
I think he was influenced by his father, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I'd be having words about that.
If he'd watched the podcast last week where we tipped D-Hop up, I mean, he only scored 7.8 points.
He was only playing against us. He only got 81 on the board. So yes, those decisions are quite crucial between your flex players and your fringe bench players, aren't they? And unfortunately for Ryan, he got it wrong, and the three of us managed to capitalise on a small schoolboy. So yeah, get in there.
Yeah, I mean, the poor lad, he can't play sports at the minute. He's injured, and we're just rubbing it in his face. And
I'm sure when he's back to playing sports, he'll run rings around a lot of us in any sport that he plays.
Yes,
we won't be catching him. What about
he'll have the last laugh, won't he?
Definitely.
What about having a quick look at his team and his selections? He's got Aaron Jones on his roster. Would you start? So, general question: would you be starting Aaron Jones tonight?
Based on what he's got, yes. If he had better options, possibly no. But based on the shit that he's got, sorry, shouldn't swear. Based
on the average team, although he was top of the league till we took him down. But I think, again, just a wider point on Jones, back playing tonight, but possibly on a snap count. Those are the words that fantasy managers hate, aren't they?
Especially on a Thursday night.
Well, I didn't see him mentioned as on a snap count. I saw Christian Watson mentioned as on a snap count, but not Jones. And I think you can probably confidently plug Jones in as a RB2.
You'd fire him in, would you?
Yeah, I think the Packers are overly cautious with their players returning from injury, and I think he probably could have played on Sunday, but with this being a divisional game,
I was going to say big game this one, isn't it?
That they held him out just as a precaution to make sure he was right for this game. So yeah, I would have no concerns with him. With Christian Watson, I have seen it mentioned that he'll be on a snap count, but I mean, who knows what that means?
Would you be getting? I think we mentioned a bit last week. Would you be getting away from AJ Dillon?
I think the Packers last week got away from AJ Dillon themselves. They ended up running. Is it Patrick Taylor? I think.
Right. You always feel like you want to start that running back 2 when the running back 1's out, and you think, it's his time to get his fair share of touches. But I think we mentioned it last week. We've all been a bit burnt by the potential and the actual with Dillon. So I think if you've got him in your roster and you played him last week, I think now is the time to get shot. At least out your team.
Yeah, it just looks so bad. I mean, he looks like a fullback as opposed to a running back.
He sort of flatters to deceive, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Anyone else worth mentioning in our FFOP league?
Well, hang on. So unlucky Ryan. I've got a special react sound for you here.
Tell you what, we've blown the budget on sound effects, haven't we? That 50 pence budget's gone.
Anything else worth mentioning? I can't really think of anything. Can you, Mr. Hope? Paul Hope. We asked him for 100% and he delivered.
Was it him who was at 90% last week and then has gone from 90 to 100, or was it somebody else who was 90?
Yeah, so he was 98% last week, and Paul Hope has set a perfect possible lineup and scored the max points possible. 172 points. All in double what we.
I was going to say, I hope we're not playing anytime soon. Can we fix the fixtures so we don't ever have to play them?
Have you not got a soundboard for that, Anne? Or have we blown all the money?
Here we go. There you go, Paul. Oh, we spare no expense.
I'm glad you heard it because I didn't hear a fucking thing.
Can you hear it?
No.
Moving on. Yeah, I did. Moving on.
There you go. Well done, Paul.
Still didn't hear it.
The league's shaping up quite nicely, though, isn't it? As there's only one 3-0 team.
Oh no, there's 2.
Oh, is it 2?
Yeah.
No, on 3 teams.
Oh, sorry, on 3 teams, yeah.
3. No, I don't look at the bottom. I look at the top. 3-0. There's only Callum 3-0, so that gives everybody within touching distance, doesn't it?
Well, to be honest, with our team, we only need to be looking at the bottom, really, don't we?
Just take that phone away from that mic, Baz, because it's just buzzing.
Okay.
I know you're using it. I know you're using it for.
Just keep an eye on what the table's telling us. Yeah.
Blandy, Eddie said, "Why do you have the silly cap on?"
Because I know it annoys your father.
Hang on, I'll trump him. Say, ask Ellie what she thinks is my accessories. Kevin Hamilton, who is the reigning champion?
Is that a rhetorical question?
I think it's a smug question.
Yeah. Right, come on, lads. Have anyone got any lineup questions? Fire them in.
What about our own lineup questions? What can we analyse our own team a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's have a look. Oh, do you know what I noticed before? What a weirdo Amphis this is, Ellie. Do you know what I noticed on the trade block before? I was going to ask you about it.
Go on.
Josh Jacobs.
Okay. So, what's your thoughts?
Well, I think he's a buy low.
Quite possibly.
We're all right at running back, though, aren't we? With Pollard and Kyron Williams.
Yeah, but then our bench is horrendous.
Jalen Warren. I think, again, just getting into some of the people, we were saying Warren and Najee Harris, it feels like it's a slow switch over. We want it to switch over quickly, but Warren will get there, won't he?
He's getting there now, yeah. I don't know if he's ever going to take the job fully, but I mean, he's taken half the role off Najee.
We'd like him to be a 60-40 or something, and all those backfield touches from receiving. I think he seems to be receiving back, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got the receiving work. Yeah, he's got that locked up. He has the 2-minute drill. He has all that work as well. Najee just gets the empty carries between the 20s. They haven't particularly got to the goal line yet. I would imagine it'll be Najee when he gets to the goal line, to be honest, though. As Barry's dial-up gone off, as someone picked up the phone in the house.
Oh, he needs to get that internet sorted, doesn't he? We're going to have a whip round.
I think someone's picked the phone up in the house and knocked the dial-up off.
Ronnie Bell. So Debo apparently injured. Would you start Ronnie Bell?
I think you'd have to be desperate, wouldn't you?
Wouldn't you?
You would. I mean, Ayuk didn't play last week. He only played 37% of the snaps. So
I think if Debo's out and possibly Ayuk, then
Ayuk practiced today.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. He practiced today, and they took the non-contact jersey off as well. So, Ayuk will play. He probably could have played. He probably could have played last week, but they probably didn't need him.
Yeah.
Oh, you're back, put the cards where I'm back. I think I knocked myself off. It wasn't the people's guillotine, and everyone got shot at me for terrible banter. I think I just knocked myself out. But I think the 49...
When are you going to get some decent internet?
I don't know, mate. I don't know.
You're going to get some fibre?
I'm still on dial-up. To go around the wheel.
That's what I said. Someone picked the phone up downstairs.
What, the bat phone off the wall?
Yeah.
The Cardinals aren't going to trouble the 49ers, are they? Regardless of which receivers, they'll beat them up on the floor, won't they?
Yeah, I would think so. Just like your Cowboys beat up on them last week.
Not my Cowboys.
Here's a question. Ryan Kennedy. Cheers, Ryan. Start one in flex spot. Full PPR. Christian Watson, Marquise Brown, Cam Akers, Najee Harris.
Christ.
Or bank on Saquon Barkley playing.
I don't think Saquon plays this week.
No.
I think they give him another week. As someone who has Saquon in a couple of spots, to be honest, I hope they give him a few weeks. Just if he aggravates that high ankle again, it's just going to be a recurring cycle over and over again. Christ, that's a tough one. Probably. I mean, I'm never going to recommend anyone play Najee Harris. Cam Akers is a tough start because you have no idea what his role's going to be. So it's probably between Watson, who might be on a snap count, or Marquise Brown against the 49ers.
Marquise Brown and the Cardinals, though, I think we all start that season thinking the Cardinals are tanking, they're going to be absolutely terrible, there's no fantasy around. Not only have they been sort of competitive in some of the games, they've put some decent fantasy points up on some of the players. And I think Brown's done all right.
Yeah, he has done all right. Yeah, it's the clear clear wide receiver one there.
So for me, I'm going to go this week. I would go Marquise Brown, but I think Christian Watson is going to come back and come good and take the lead in that Packers offense, isn't he? So I think he's your longer term one, but maybe this week try and sneak a bit of a Brown in there.
Yeah, probably. It wouldn't surprise me to see Christian Watson outscoring this week, but I don't think you could be confident about starting Watson without with him saying that he's going to be on a snap count.
That's it. That's what I'm saying. You know,
yeah,
he seems he's a streaky player anyway. You know that he can peel off those 60, 70-yard touchdowns, but might have a few down weeks in between. Especially when you get back to fitness. I think maybe just lean Marquise Brown this week.
Yeah, possibly, but none of them are confident players.
None of them jumping off the page.
No.
I think again, just talking about some of these players and some of these teams, we're 3 weeks in. It's that balance, isn't it, between being reactional to 1 or 2 good weeks, which we kind of get a little bit focused on at the start of the season when we have some spikes and some downs, and balancing that with what our pre-season thoughts were and what our last season takes were on players. And it's still really at that early stage of trying to get the right read. Have they just had a good matchup? Have they had a good week?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, especially the first 2 weeks. It's almost just like pre-season games. Teams are still getting themselves together, still getting themselves up and running, finding out the best personnel usage and things like that. So yeah, the first month of the season is very much still wait and see mode with a lot of players.
Back to our team. Herbert. Is it time to drop him?
Yeah, I mean, it's not encouraging so far, is it? I mean, he's a starter and he hasn't eclipsed 40 yards yet. Like the only saving grace or the only hope we've got. I mean, we're not going to start him this week, but the only hope you got is that he has a big game this week and you see a bit more from the Bears offense against the Denver defense. That gives you a bit of hope going forward. But if he blobs this week, then I think he's a pretty easy automatic drop, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, like I say, they're playing the Broncos this week and they've probably got a good chance of beating them, So if you have got him in a league and you're looking for somebody to stick in it, like all those tight decisions for, this is the only time you're going to get to play him, isn't it, really?
Yeah, pretty much. But no, it's been pretty bleak for Herbert and for pretty much all the Bears anyway, hasn't it?
Very poor.
Certainly has. Paul Hope, thoughts on Anthony Richardson, 2 quarterback league and Scott Fishbowl. We're not in the Scott Fishbowl there, Mr. Hope. Maybe next year.
Well, if they look at our scores in our own league, we're not getting an invite, are we? I mean, Richardson's
this weekend, isn't he?
Yeah, he's practiced in full the last 2 days. He'll clear the concussion protocol, no bother. He's an automatic start in any league, any week.
He's looking good from a fantasy perspective, isn't he? I think the only concern is can he finish a game because he's taking some hits and he's getting taken out of games. So whether they'll be a little bit more careful with him this week and maybe not, whether it's designed or whether he's just scrambling for runs, not running too much in the red zone and things like that, where he's going to take some big hits.
Yeah, no, he'd be grand.
But yeah, he looks good. Do you think the change from Minshew to Richardson has any impact on someone like Josh Downs or
possibly? Excuse me.
I was going to say it might have an impact on Zach Moss, mightn't it?
Yeah, I think Moss's rush totals will come down a bit. I mean, last week the whole team was inflated anyway. They ran 84 plays last week, so everything was just inflated last week. But yeah, I think Moss's rushing attempts will come back down, normalise, shall we say? Some of the some of the dropbacks that Minshew had last week that might have been going down to Pittman might turn into scrambles a bit with Richardson, but Alec Pierce has pretty much been a non-factor with Minshew and with Richardson, so I can only see Downs' role growing in that team.
There's not a lot.
He's not someone you're going to start. You're going to stash him and just over the next month see how much his role does grow.
Hope he blossoms. Colts are better than we thought, though, aren't they? Good winning against the Raiders. That
like Shane Steichen,
good coach,
should be the favourite for Coach of the Year probably already. Like I haven't looked at the market. I don't know what the market is, but Steichen should probably be favourite for Coach of the Year already, I would say. Just because he's got
the Colts competitive with him.
Yeah, but the way they're playing as well, they're not. He hasn't gone in there and got right. I've got a rookie quarterback. I've got to play slow, play defense. Got to run the ball. No, I've got a rookie quarterback. We're going to play really fast. We're going to chuck the ball about the place. We're going to run a shitload of plays. It's pretty impressive what he's doing.
Yeah.
They know Richardson's raw. So rather than just saying, "Oh, we've got to protect him and do this," no, you're going to go out there and you're going to play quarterback properly, and that's how you go to learn. You're going to learn on the job. Going to make mistakes on the job. What he's doing is really, really impressive.
Play a high tempo game that's going to be hard for the opposition to stop because he's, if you don't get set and he's pounding on you, he's difficult to stop. And also, if you are making mistakes, you've probably got a bit more time to turn around. You're not making it a high pressure. You turn the ball over, it really hurts your sort of game.
Do you think Taylor comes back?
Well, I was going to say, do you think the Colts being better helps Taylor come back or not? What about if they're in a playoff sort of mix? Is that going to encourage him again?
Well, he can come back next week, can't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to want to, though, does he? From what you're hearing,
but he has to at some point.
So he doesn't. If he doesn't play at all, he won't.
He won't
accrue his contract.
He won't accrue a season. So these 4 games that he's been on the PUP for, they go towards the 6 games that he needs to accrue. So he has to play for 18 for 2 games basically. If they activate him from the PUP at the start of next week, so at some point this year he'll have to play 2 games for 18. Otherwise, he's just going to be in the same situation next year that he's found himself in this year. So
I did think before all of the sort of him not playing and all that was in the out in the open, that if they had Richardson and Taylor, that sort of, how do you stop them two? If you get them two like flying on the floor, it's going to be a real headache for defenses. But obviously that's never materialised because Taylor's not been interested enough to play. But if they can get to a point where they've got them two, sounds really tough. Like,
you've seen what Zach Moss has done. Like, imagine what Taylor would have done. Like proper healthy Jonathan Taylor, it'd have gone absolutely nuclear.
If you can, design them players where he sort of holds in for Taylor and read options, and both of them could just explode into space, can't they?
Yes. Yeah.
Hi guys, Holly wants to know what you think about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. She is a Swiftie.
This definitely seems a question that you should be answering rather than me or Barry answering that. So we'll leave it to you.
I think it's absolutely fantastic. I think all you need is love. It's great for the sport. Kev Hammer, worried about JSN if there's no injury to DK or Lockett?
Not really. He's coming back from an injury still. He's still playing with a cast on his wrist. So no, not particularly. His profile of him as a player hasn't changed. Still very high in him coming in. Rookies develop at different speeds. They have an early bye. I think it's week 5. They have a bye, so I wouldn't be shocked at all to see coming out of the bye that his role's grown significantly.
They've not exactly hit the ground running this season either, the Seahawks. So maybe as the team gets better, and that week one with all losing the 2 linemen and what have you, maybe just a bit of a slow burner of a team as well.
Yeah.
But Ken Walker's looked good, isn't he?
Yeah, very good. He's kind of look as advertised, hasn't he? You have to take his negative runs. You have to kind of accept them if you want to get his explosive runs out of him.
I've had a cheeky look at Zach Charbonnet this week. Mr. Hope's got him on his bench.
Yeah, you're not the only one.
Yeah.
I was looking at him.
Both sniffing round, are we?
Yeah.
I thought you talked about the wireless there for a second.
I think he's worth a pickup. If you can get
it. If you, he's rostered in quite a few leagues. He is 61%. But yeah, if he is kicking about on waiver wires in some leagues, he's definitely someone that wants to be rostered and stashed. His role is growing, not to the expense of Walker's. It's pretty much DJ Dallas that he's kind of kicking to the curb, which was to be expected. And again, he's another one, obviously on the Seahawks with the early bye, where it won't be a surprise to see his role get larger coming out of that bye week.
You were big on him in the draft, weren't you, Charbonnet? I can remember watching some videos you put up of him pounding people at the floor in college.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Kev Hammer, he's not convinced. He's only playing a lot of third downs. Seahawks playing a lot of 12 and 13 personnel on early downs. Impressive stuff.
Yeah. They are. Like I say, he's still injured, still playing with a cast on his wrist. Expect the role to grow coming out of the bye. It's not something that concerns me, to be quite honest with you.
They do some funny things with the tight ends, don't they, the Seahawks? They seem to have a load of no-mark tight ends who just sort of go around in a bit of a circle.
Yeah, they have the 3 at the minute, Fant Disley, Colby Parkinson. And they just use them as a committee.
Are they mainly blocking, or are they running routes, or just a bit of everything?
Bit of both. Fant mainly runs the routes. Disley does a bit of both, and Parkinson's more of a blocker than he is a route runner. As you saw from one of them last week, where he had the ball hit him in the chest and he dropped it.
I was going to say, I can remember him dropping a bit of a dolly this last week from the red zone.
Had about 20 yards to run, and just dropped it straight on the floor.
A big
the thesis of the GSN player has always been later in the year, anyway. So I've got him in loads of places and not really panicking over it.
So don't give up hope.
Which matchup do you chaps fear will be best for fantasy football purposes this week? I believe this one will probably take some beating. Do you reckon?
I would imagine so. It's certainly got the highest over/under, 53.5 points. So Vegas certainly expects it to be the highest scoring game on the slate. Yeah,
I'm wanting a 150-yard, 2-touchdown Gabe Davis this week.
What do you have? One catch for 50 yards and a touchdown last week, so you got a lot out of him for one catch.
Yeah, I mean he did all right to come out. Consider, it was a defensive game, wasn't it? I mean their defense just absolutely harassed Sam Howell. So,
I was going to say, just looking at the box score on this one, Blandy, there was a lot of run plays from Buffalo, wasn't there? Did they just pound them on the floor? Not need to bother too much with the receiving game. Obviously, Diggs got his feed, but 33 rush attempts. That seems a lot.
Yeah, they didn't need to. Like the Bills' defense scored more points than what the Washington offense did. So
didn't get out of second gear.
No, exactly. Yeah.
And then obviously the Dolphins, they're not going to score 10 touchdowns every week, and the 2 running backs. 4 each, didn't they? But I think they're both playable this week, aren't they? Because I don't think the Bills are great against the run. And is it A-Chan rather than A-Chain?
It's A-Chan, Devon A-Chan.
A-Chan looked like he came into his own last week, and I'd looked again at that mix between him and Mostert. He was getting a lot of the rushes, and Mostert was getting a lot of the catching play out of the backfield, which wasn't quite how I thought it was going to go down.
Yeah, he looked fast. I'll say that.
They're both usable this week, though. Would you say?
Probably. RB2s, low end RB2s, probably. All for a touchdown off them.
Right, question. WSP guys, cheers for the question. Should I start Higgins or Palmer this week? Greetings from PNW.
For me, it would be Higgins. He had plenty of targets against the Rams, similar to his week 1 game where he had 8 targets and 0 catches. I think he had about the same against the Rams, although he did catch a couple. Yeah, he got 2 of them. I would start Higgins, especially against Tennessee. Tennessee's secondary is absolute toilet. So I would definitely start Higgins this week.
Just for the international viewers, when you say toilet, do you mean shit?
Not very good.
Not very good.
Not very good. Must try harder.
Trash.
Yeah.
Trash.
For the Pacific Northwesterners, like WSP guys.
Do you agree, Baz?
Yeah, I think again I'm always skeptical of Palmer. We're saying obviously Mike Williams has gone down. Therefore, you always sort of look at the next man up, but I'm not sure it always works like that with Eckler coming back now. So yeah, still got my concern with the Bengals and Burrow, but yeah, probably Higgins is a better player than Palmer for me.
Yeah, I'm just hoping Allen just keeps on getting them receptions, baby.
Yeah, I think again looking at that game last week, they were just feeding those little short underneath. The defense was giving him, and Herbert was just stacking him into Allen, and he was just taking everything, wasn't he?
Yeah,
I saw there was a clip on Twitter where Allen didn't know what the play call was. He came out and he's looking around and he's like this, like looking about what's the play call. It just ran around in between zone coverage, found the soft spot, caught the ball. Thank you very much. I didn't even know what the play was. Just made it up on the fly. Just say, "Oh, I'll go there."
Bit of backyard football, eh? Just run a route and I'll find you.
Pretty much, yeah.
Last thing on the Dolphins and Taylor, actually. So Dolphins were like one of the favourites to be interested in Taylor, weren't they?
Well, they were also one of the favourites to be interested in Dalvin Cook. Imagine what Dalvin Cook would look like. All that speed, and then you've got Dalvin Cook plodding along at 10 mile an hour at a snail's pace. Fucking hell. After seeing what the two of them did this week, and I don't know if they'd be. Obviously, you're going to be interested in good players, but you sign Taylor, you've got to give up draft capital to do the trade, and then you've got to make him one of the highest paid running backs in the league, because that's the whole reason why you're trading for him as well. So it's a double-edged sword for any team that does actually trade for it.
I'm just hoping and praying Taylor goes back to the Colts and screws Steve Wake over with Moss. As I'm sure we all are. Back to our team dilemma.
Yeah.
I think there's a multitude of dilemmas here.
Well, there is, yeah. Our wide receiver, we're in desperate need of a third wide receiver to step up.
We're stuck in a bit of no man's land, aren't we, with some of these guys?
Yeah.
Are we happy with our kicker?
Well, I suggested changing him out for Brett Maher for the Rams, because Sean McVay, and it looks like the Rams' offense is usable. It's half decent this year. They're going to move the ball. All the time when McVay's had a usable offense, our kicker's always been very good. Matt Gay has always been a good kicker to start the last few years in fantasy. And so far this year, Mar scored double-digit points. So we are doing it, are we?
Yeah, only reason I did it straight away there is because there's some people watching, and it was
yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, it would have stitched us up.
Yeah, double-digit points in all 3 games so far this year. McVeigh, a bit like Shanahan when it comes to fourth downs, a bit of a shithouse and would much rather
doesn't go for it.
Yeah. Take the 3 points. So yeah, that was my case for Brett. And then obviously, I think I tallied up later on. He's still got 11 games to play in a dome this year, so the majority of his games are going to be played indoors, unaffected by the weather when we get later on in the year. So,
and what about the Rams in general, then, Blandy? Obviously, a bit of a boom start to the week, and maybe brought back down to earth a little bit. Not a great performance this week. Are we still high on some of those offensive players we've got for the Rams?
Yeah, because McVeigh called a really, really bad game against the Bengals, and the Rams media called him out over it as well. So I think he'll have a bit of a
chip on his shoulder.
A bit of chip on his shoulder for this next game.
And I think that Bengals defense looked really good, didn't they?
They did, but they only looked good when the Rams lost 2 O linemen. We lost our left tackle, and then after that, we had a second-year backup coming at left tackle, and after that, Trey Hendrickson just wrecked him. Every time Stafford dropped back, he was just getting killed. So yeah, we lost our left tackle and right tackle as well. I think it was our right guard. They're hoping both are going to be back this week.
Was there some sort of comment about changing at running back or trying to feature more running backs? Or was that a bit of a throwaway comment?
Well, yes, we're gonna have to play someone else at running back just to give Williams a rest, because I mean,
who have you got a running back?
Well, they played him on every single. He's playing every single running back snap, and then he was. Who the fucker was even out there? He was 100% snaps, 95% snaps. They've even got him out there returning kicks. He's playing special teams. He had him out there punt returning.
What, have they got a 35-man roster?
Oh, so I'm thinking, Ronnie Rivers and Royce Freeman are absolute turd. So I'm kind of thinking...
Is the Rolls Royce still kicking about, is he?
Rolls Royce RB3 on Rolls Royce on the Rams. I'm kind of thinking that they're going to hopefully get Zach Evans ramped up, and maybe he's someone who they can start to integrate into the offense. Lad's been a healthy scratch for the first 3 weeks, so there's obviously doesn't seem to be any great rush at the minute. But they can't. Yeah, he is. Yeah, no, he's on the. No, he's not in the practice squad. He's actually on the roster.
But they just scratched him.
But yeah, he's just been a healthy scratch. Yeah.
He hasn't even got a picture, Ronnie Rivers.
That's how good he is.
Yeah. It's a sorry state of affairs behind. But Williams, he can't. No one can hold up with this kind of workload. So he needs. He's not even £200.
When's the Rams bye week? What are we looking at there? Because that's normally a good chance.
13, is it? 10, 10. Week 10, yeah.
They'd probably liked an earlier bye to get some of these players integrated back in a bit more, wouldn't they? If they've been chopping. You guess if you get a healthy scratch, you're kind of quite far away from the playbook, aren't you?
Yeah, I would imagine so, yeah.
What about, I know we just moved off the Bills, but what about the Bills and their tight ends? Where are we sitting and thinking on them? That sort of Dalton, Kincaid, a little bit of a promise early on, but still really having a bit of a split with Knox. And maybe it was a hard week to judge him because they didn't have to throw too much.
Yeah, well, Kincaid was never going to take over the role full time anyway. It was always going to be a split role where they just end up playing more 12, or they have Kincaid playing as a big slot. But the problem with Kincaid is he's not up to a full route share at the minute. He's only on 67-68% routes for the season. Knox is at 70%. Fantasy wise, neither of them are where you want to be. You want to be above 75%, really. I mean, 80% is excellent, but above 75%. So
yeah, I think I made a bit of a mistake in one of my leagues and picked up Kincaid from a draft perspective when I should have obviously gone for Laporte or somebody else. If you're going for that low round tight end. But I think at the moment he's very hard to start, isn't he, Kincaid? If you've got him, I think you should be looking for other streamers at that position.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You can't start him with any confidence.
Question from Steve Wake: having made a mistake drafting King Henry, when will Barry's bullet bite the bullet?
A lot of bullets in that. A lot of bees in there, isn't there? I'm still a King Henry fan. I think he's been. He's on a bad offense, isn't he? So when they're getting blasted out of games and they're not able to utilize the run at all, they've got to get away from it. It doesn't help him. The O-line's terrible. I still believe in him as a player, but yeah, he's certainly not lived up to the previous season's numbers. But you can often get going again, kind of when it gets cold in the winter time. So,
what T-shirt have you got on there, Baz?
I've got a little bit of a. Man. Long live the king. So I'm still sticking with King Henry. I've invested, $7.99 in a T-shirt, so I've got to stick with him now.
He hasn't broken a single tackle this year, right, Henry?
Really?
Yeah, not one broken tackle.
He's not being helped by the fact that he's got a bit more competition these days with that Ty J. Spears is getting on the field a bit more often, and looks like he's relatively useful as well.
Yeah. I mean, Spears hasn't taken any of the rush attempts off Henry really. Siphoned a bit away the targets and stuff, but just the fact that he's keeping Henry off the field in pass blocking situations and stuff. Just means that Henry, he can't be out there for a dump off or anything like that.
Yeah, I think the game script's killing him as well at the moment, isn't it? Titans are getting out the game early and then chasing it, and Tannehill's not playing very good. They're not a great roster. There's a lot of things not going for him, but having plumb for him in round 3 or 4, I'm gonna keep soldering on, keep the abuse coming.
Going to bite the bullet, so to speak.
No, I'm not biting the bullet, mate. I'm burying my head in the sand.
Well, it's interesting you say that because I've got good intel that you try to get rid of him there earlier in this week.
Well, you've always got. If there's a deal to be.
Oh, he's got
no comment. No comment. No comment. He's off.
Hello.
Yeah, but in fairness, he's got. He's been a good player for a number of years, hasn't he, Henry? And did he get a 2,000-yard season one year? Blandy, he was on track for it next year when he picked up an injury. So he's put some numbers up that other running backs have never done. So don't write him off.
Yeah, it's always good to be a year early than a year too late, eh, Barry?
I mean, I've had him quite a few years, so you've got to take the rough with the smooth.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I wasn't into Henry at his peak, so I'm certainly not going to be into him when he was clearly declining.
Should we move on to another one of your men that you're not into, Blandy? Look at Adam Thielen's last week performance.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he pissed all over me last week, didn't he? Thielen. So but there we go. He's had his swan song. He can piss off.
Read that stat line out to me, Anth, please.
31.5 fantasy points, snaps 92%, targets 14, receptions 11, 145 yards.
Well, touchdown.
And 1 touchdown.
Boom. Touchdown.
Same again this week.
No, Bryce Young's back.
I was just going to say that what's not going to help him this week is he hasn't got Andy Dalton. He's going to probably have Bryce Young.
Yeah.
However, I do still think, I know people are keen to fade players who are older and getting away from it. He's a good, safe pair of hands on an average depth of receiver core. He'll get his share of catches, won't he?
Yeah, possibly. They've changed his role from where he was playing with the Vikings. The Vikings, he was always lined up out wide. He's primarily now just lined up in the slot all the time. So
right.
He's basically playing as a tight end essentially.
He's always had good hands, though, hasn't he?
Yeah. To be fair, I give him a lot of shit. But yes, he's always had really, 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 really good hands. Yeah. And playing that, he's almost playing a similar role to Larry Fitzgerald at the end of his career. Just lining up in the slot all the time, and being a QB's friend. So we'll see how he develops with Bryce Young.
And where are we on Bryce Young? Is he still very much in that learning phase?
He's not helped out by the players around him, is he?
No, but I guess he's got a similar situation to what CJ Stroud's got, and he seems to be making a better fist of it at the moment.
Yeah, Stroud's playing very well.
And fantasy usable CJ Stroud? Possibly. Again, we had a question earlier on, didn't we, about getting rid of Lamar Jackson and going to sort of streaming QB. I think Stroud's someone who can use. He had a good week last week, didn't he?
Yeah. He's had two
schedules like.
He's had 20-pointers, so
if they've got a reasonable schedule, or pick him in some of the matchups, the division's not too difficult, is it? So he's usable.
No, and he's playing with. I think they lost another lineman, so
right.
he's playing pretty much without his full starting line. So once they start getting healthier as well, he'll get even more protection. So I think the O-line coming back probably will help Dameon Pierce more than it'll be of a greater benefit to CJ Stroud, because he's doing really well with a lot of backups in there, where Dameon Pierce is really, really struggling.
Yeah.
And what about that Texans receivers? Again, I think at the start of the season, when we were drafting before the season, we were saying we don't know who's going to emerge as the wide receiver one. We've had a couple of good weeks out of Nico Collins, and then this week they've spread it around again. Is this just that sort of, they've got quite a lot of players of a similar standing, and therefore it gives them that room to spread it around, which doesn't help us fantasy managers?
Well, Tank Dell has led them the last 2 weeks in receiving.
Great performance this week from Tank Dell, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was excellent. Yeah, he was unlucky not to have 2 touchdowns. He got tackled at the 1 yard line on one of his deep bombs in the first half that Dameon Pierce scored his touchdown off, and then at the end, wide open, scored his, got in the end zone, scored his touchdown. But that's 2 weeks in a row now where he's led the Texans in targets. Prior to or at the draft, after the Texans had drafted CJ Stroud told the Texans that he wanted them to draft Tank Dell. The two of them had been working out together prior to the draft, and he told the Texans to draft Tank Dell, and that that's what they've done. And obviously they have a really good rapport on and off the field. So you can only really see his role growing. And despite the fact that he's tiny. He's 5'10", 165. He's an outside receiver. He doesn't particularly line up in the slot a great deal. He's solely playing out wide all the time. So, doing really, really well. But this whole team, for as long as Dameon Pierce struggles running the ball, they're going to be putting it on CJ Stroud's arm, and he's going to be feeding his three receivers. Dalton Schultz, an absolute afterthought. They don't normally you get a tight end in there for to be a rookie QB's best mate. Well, he's just sacked him off completely.
I was going to say he was a guy on a little bit of my eye on Dalton Schultz, but he's probably droppable now, is he?
Yeah. I don't think you
much better tight end options than Schultz.
Yeah.
Hammer's asking how high you on A-Chain this week. He missed the Dolphins Bills review.
Well, you can always go back and listen to it again on YouTube, can't you?
I think he's probably back end 2, high end 3.
I think he's usable. I think he's definitely usable this week. I think the Bills' numbers against the run are a bit iffy, not just this season, over a longer stretch I've seen. So, with the Dolphins, they're very much Hill. Even when Waddle didn't play, they didn't really use everything else. It was Hill and the running backs. Obviously, they played the Broncos, so it was a pissy game. So it's Hill, Waddle, and the back. So he's not got lots of competition there. I think he'll be usable this week.
Yeah, Waddle's back, so Waddle will play this week. Still, if you had just a choice between the two of them, I'd still start Mostert over him.
Yeah,
but if you needed an RB2 spot filling in, then he'd certainly be under consideration.
And are you worried, there's a Bills Mafia man, about the Dolphins coming into town and steamrolling you?
No chance.
No chance of
steamrolling. But what I would be concerned about playing A-Chain, whatever you want to call him, is
A-Chan.
Is that cat gif, with the laser pen.
Chasing the points.
Well, I don't. He could play in the NFL for the next 10 years. I don't think he's ever going to put up 51 points again. Is he?
Definitely not.
I think that's a career game. So
you can't play the Broncos every week.
Yes, that's it.
Problem is, I have 4 running backs.
Well, tell us what they are, and then we can help you out.
Yeah.
What's his team at all? 2 seconds. I tried to get one off him, but he wouldn't.
Tricky customer to trade with, isn't he?
Yeah. We had Andrews was on the line from me, and I was after Breece Hall.
I play Etchen over Breece this week.
He has Ford, A-Chain, Javonte Williams, Breece Hall, Spears. Yeah.
I mean, you're not starting Spears, are you?
No. So what did he say? Ford, A-Chain.
Ford, A-Chain, Williams, and Breece Hall.
I mean, Ford's looking good because that O-line's looking good, aren't they? They're winning on both sides of the line, aren't they? The Browns, and they're not.
Their defense is hellish.
Yeah, they're not asking Watson to do too much, are they? Because he doesn't look like he's capable at the moment of doing too much. Ford's sort of benefiting from that and probably getting good field positions and everything else. So he seems, for me, one to keep rolling with for now.
Yeah, I'd probably play Ford and Javonte. I think. Yeah, I think that's who I will play. I think I'd play Ford, Javonte, and then A-Chain.
Question from Antonio Lopez.
Hello, Antonio.
Start 3: Kyron, Amari Cooper, Gabe Davis, Swift, Moss.
Really like Swift this week. Really like Swift against Washington.
Yeah. I was going to say, I did a little bit of I know we've spoke about the Swift game well in the Eagles' backfield. And the box score looks a bit of a 50-50 split this week, but I think it was 75-25 to Swift until they got into garbage time in a game that they were sort of coasting and just looking to ice the game. So I think Swift has kicked on a little bit from that bumper week.
They seem to rotate, they seem to rotate by quarters. Is how it seemed to be, because I still think
rather than game scripts.
Yeah, I still think Gainwell is the 4 minute, 2 minute back. So at the end of the first half, and then at the end of the game, that's still all Gainwell's work. So against the Bucks, Gainwell played a lot more of the second quarter and a lot more of the fourth quarter. So it'd be interesting to see if that trend continues. But Gainwell, they've always said Gainwell's the 4 minute and 2 minute back. So
is that a reliability thing? Maybe Swift hasn't trust. He always had a little bit of question mark about drops. Or
I think they're just. I mean, that was Gainwell. That was Gainwell's role last year when Sanders was there. I just think they're very comfortable with him in that role.
Yeah. I was looking at more of, it was a bit more of a garbage time, resting Swift, get the split on when they just constantly run the ball twice a game. But maybe there's more to it than that. And they've just got a different way of rotating than we kind of used to.
Yeah. To answer his question, and I wouldn't normally do this, especially in PPR, but I think I play all three running backs in this situation.
Do you know what? That was going to be my response as well. Kyren, Swift, and Moss.
Yeah.
So you're not worried about Kyren's shutout last week?
No. I mean, he had 7 targets. You connect on a couple more of them. It's into double figures. Then gives you a solid floor. His target floor is excellent for a running back.
And they've got the Colts this week, haven't they? So again, could be a relatively decent scoring game.
I think this game goes well over the 46.5. Both teams want to play fast, So it's in a dome. In a dome.
Another plus for Kyren.
Yeah. I'd do that. Yeah. 46.
So, Kyren, Swift, and Moss will go on.
Yeah, I hope that helps you out, Antonio.
I always like a little punt on Gabe Davis, though.
Yeah. He's
like playing the lottery.
Picking off some big players, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's certainly not a bad shout in this game environment this week again, and that's going to be it's projected to be the highest scoring game. So there's going to be lots of points scored. You think Davis is going to be involved somewhere there? I just think the 3 RBs are a lot more of a solid floor than what Gabe Davis projects to be. But yeah, I mean, if Davis puts up a 25-pointer in this kind of game environment, you wouldn't really be shocked, would you?
No. Players to add.
Yeah, have you got them up there, Ronth? Have you?
I have. First one, which I was pleased to see in the notes before the podcast, was Rice.
Yeah.
Now, I was looking at this earlier on in the week because I was looking for someone to trade out my team, and he was probably the only one. Just add a little bit of a bonus to a trade, and then I started looking and I was thinking, actually, it's a bit encouraging, isn't it?
Well, I tell you what would have been even more encouraging, and he'd be rostered in a lot more than 47% of the leagues if he didn't get stopped at the 1 yard line twice last week. Got stopped twice. If he gets in and those 2 are touchdowns, and he puts up a 20-odd pointer, then
he's on the waiver wire number 1 pickup, isn't he?
Yes. Yeah. Now,
didn't he get reviewed as well?
Yeah, they give him it and it got reviewed and it turned into a Jerick McKinnon touchdown, and I think the second one was a CEH touchdown.
Yeah.
They went the running backs, but yeah, those two, those two go to him. Then the 47% roster ownership shoots right up. But he, like all the Chiefs wide receivers, looked absolute dust, don't they? So if there's anyone who's going to progress to the top of the tree as the Chiefs wide receiver one, obviously Kelsey's the number one receiver there. No one's taken that away from him, but it's probably going to be Rice. His role's grown, especially in the last game. He was up over 50% of the route share last week. Although he's not been on the field a great deal, he's still targeted at the highest rate of any Chiefs wide receivers when he is on the field. So it is through 3 games, his usage is very encouraging. He's not someone you're going to start, but he's definitely someone that you want to be picking up and stashing on your bench to see if that role does grow.
Yeah.
We've got bye weeks coming up, haven't we? So, you get into these bye weeks, you probably have to use people in these flex spots or whatever that you probably don't want to use. And if people like him are usable, time it right, and it's his week for the Chiefs, and he gets a touchdown or a bit more of the share, then Bob's your uncle, isn't it?
Yeah.
As a Rice owner, I've already got it in my head that he's just going to start developing this role, and then he's going to win me the league at the end of the season.
Yeah, keep dreaming.
That was quite easily. I mean, it's right for somebody to step up, isn't it? In that situation,
yes.
Yeah.
I can remember doing the pre-season show and said, look, Chiefs receivers is an absolute minefield. Therefore, I always take a punt on the new kid on the block because he's got not a lot to beat, just a lot of volume. So if there is a bit of quality in them, they've got every chance to carve out that wide receiver too, haven't they?
Well, Patrick Mahomes always has this thing where he says like, oh, he just likes to mix it around all of his receivers. Maybe they just haven't had like a standout one. Obviously,
I think he says that because they're all very, very average, aren't
they? Yeah, Cole Harden he had for years, didn't he? And then,
well, it was
Flash Gordon, didn't he? At one point,
it was Tyreek. It was Tyreek and Kelsey.
Obviously before he left.
And then when they traded Tyreek, they pretty much replaced Tyreek with six wide receivers.
Yeah.
So no, but there's.
So what we're saying is Rashee Rice could be the next Tyreek.
No.
Oh.
No, he's not going to be the next.
Called stretch.
He's not going to be the next Tyreek Hill, but he could be the next wide receiver one for the Chiefs.
Question from Hunter Johnson: Amari Cooper or T. Higgins?
Yeah, I want to go T in this situation. Amari had a good game last week, but that was against the Titans, who were absolutely horrendous. And lo and behold, T. Higgins this week gets the Titans, who were absolutely horrendous.
Yeah.
So I would just target the Titans.
Target the matchup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's close. I think Cooper it can be that type.
Yeah. But divisional game against the Ravens.
Two relatively good options, though.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Depending whether if this is wide receiver one, I'm assuming if it's an either or, it's obviously got to be sort of his flexish position. So it's two good options for him. Must have a decent team there, Hunter.
Yeah, I'd take. I'd play T. Higgins. No, target the Titans.
Target the Titans is not a bad shout, is it?
Target the Titans. So back to Rice. He's only 47% rostered in this sleeper.
Yeah, in redraft leagues. Yeah, like I say, if those two, even one of those touchdowns had counted last week, that'd be over 50% now. People just watching the box score.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna sack the running back position off and keep him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
good luck. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to count on Joshua Kelly. Fucking, I knew he was going to burn me. It was your true fault as well. in the fucking first week.
Quite
Yeah,
possible.
don't listen to us. You know what I mean? Other podcasts are available.
Next one up, Marvin Mims.
I
Uh,
think we've all singled him out a little bit. Will you talk us through, Ant?
well, I'm just going to share this. There we go.
Some stats coming out.
Stats, yeah. There you go, Mr. Bland. Broncos' longest gains of 2023 season.
Yeah,
Not been many, mind.
no, but he's had 8 of them. He's only touched the ball on offense 7 times, and had 5 kick returns. He scored 39.8 fantasy points already on 7 touches. 195 yards and a touchdown already, and then on kick returns, 176 yards and a touchdown as well, including a 99-yarder against the Dolphins last week. Sean Payton, it was his first draft pick as the Denver head coach, traded up to the back of the second round to take him. Very good college profile at Oklahoma, and his role is going to continue to grow. What's his rostership, Anth? Can you pull it up? I think it was 40-something%, was it?
47.
47%, yeah. So another one like Rice. This is a guy whose role is going to continue to grow. There's rumours, again, come out about the Broncos trading Jerry Jeudy away. So he could take on an even bigger role at some point if that was to happen. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But someone who's put up those kind of numbers already through 3 games on 7 touches, tells you that the team know they have to get him involved more anyway. He's been kept out the lineup by a guy called Brandon Johnson, who until this year I've never heard of.
The exact
as a Broncos fan, Barry had never heard of him.
All these numbers make sense, other than if he's averaging 30 yards a catch, why are we not throwing the ball? So again, who's making those decisions not to use him and use Lil John Humphreys and Brandon Johnson and all these absolute no marks? And Russell is managing to get the ball moving, and in the games they have lost, I know they got walloped by the Dolphins, but the 2 games they lost, which were bad defeats of the Commanders and the Raiders, they were moving the ball down the field. It's just a bit of strange play calling and decision making going on.
Yeah,
really. Why this guy's not involved?
Against Washington, he 113 yards on 2 catches. So yeah, he was the reason why they were moving the ball down the field. But yeah, his role's going to grow. That's pretty obvious. So if you can stash him now on your bench until his role does grow to where he's a full-time player, then he's pretty much going to be an automatic start at that point.
4.38 second 40 yard.
Yeah. Quick.
Again, he's on the Broncos, but we're saying the Broncos offense is not bad because the defense is making them fantasy relevant.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Who's the rumoured to be interested in Jeudy?
Don't know. There was talk in the off-season that the Broncos were interested in trading either Jeudy or Sutton.
I think they'll both get chopped, weren't they?
Yeah, obviously it never happened, and then there's just been a few rumours the last couple of days where teams might be interested in trading for Jeudy at the trade deadline or before the trade deadline, etc. But nothing, no solid reports or anything, just rumours here and there.
They've got to do something, haven't they? They can't just continue as they are at the moment, of course.
No.
What, trade him away from for a pick next year or something?
I suppose what you get for
him. Next one, Josh Downs. We touched on him at the start.
Yeah.
He's in that Mims, Rice, Downs. They're all sort of players. If you wanted some players on your bench for bye weeks and hopefully to see that upward trend that you can use later in the season, I think they're all in that category, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's already a full-time player. He's 80% of the routes now, 20% target share. So he's already fully integrated into this offense. So as Richardson gets better, gets more comfortable, Downs' role's going to grow naturally anyway. So if you can stash him now before he does start having big breakout games, he hasn't scored a touchdown yet, I don't think. When people see that happening on Red Zone, then he kind of becomes more public knowledge on the radar.
Cat's out the bag, then, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so he's one that you just stick on your bench and watch his role grow. When he starts becoming a bit more consistent, then you can definitely put him in your lineup with confidence, especially through bye weeks that are going to start picking up shortly.
Any more players to add?
The last one I've got two actually. Wandale was one of them. Wandale Robinson. He came back last week from his ACL injury. He ran 8 routes and he had 5 targets. So they made a clear signal of wanting to get him involved in the offense. And this offense desperately needs pass catchers to step up and do something. Because it's been pretty miserable so far.
Classify it as misfiring?
Yes, I mean to be fair to them though, they've had 2 tough games, haven't they? Out the 3, Dallas defense and San Francisco defense. Not the easiest of pass defenses to face. So you give them a pass.
But they did go 20 points down against the Cardinals.
They did, but to be fair to them, they got themselves out the hole that they put themselves in as well. Yeah. So, but no, they made a clear signal for wanting to get Wandale involved early, coming off his injury. He's someone just to keep an eye on. If his role continues to grow, he's definitely someone that should be on people's watch lists.
Okay. I think the only other one I've probably got to have a little put up and have a discussion is the Patriots' Kendrick Bourne. Again, I don't think he's particular attractive ad or anything that people don't know, but I think his numbers make him a little bit usable coming to bye weeks, and he's quite lowly rostered.
Yeah, I mean, the concern for me is that after his big week 1, they cut his playing time in half.
He had a few sort of drops and where he could have dragged his toes in and plays where I think again you get a bit of a Belichick treatment, don't you? If you don't hit the heights, you get a bit punished.
Yeah, it's just like he had a really good game week 1.
But who's his competition? I think that's what Devontae Parker. I don't think he's particularly pulling trees up. It's not a great group of players to beat out. Mac Jones is doing okay. I think again people are a bit low on him, but he's never going to be a superstar. But they've had some tough matchups and he's kept them at least competitive. So I think the schedule will be easier for them. In the future. I know they've got Dallas this week, but looking after that, they've got the Saints and is that the Raiders. So I think again he's usable in bye weeks.
Possibly, yeah, possibly.
Did you say you had one more, Brandy?
I did, yeah. Luke Musgrave, tight end for the Packers. Like, to be honest, I had no idea how he's already 35% rostered. I mean, guy's a full-time tight end. Pretty much plays majority of the snaps. He runs all the routes. And we've already seen, for those people that watch Red Zone, we've already seen 2 big plays for him that just haven't quite happened yet. The one against Chicago where he fell down on the long pass from Jordan Love. If he keeps his feet there, goes in, scores a touchdown, that's a 60-yarder. And then last week against the Saints, runs down the seam, splits the 2 safeties straight down the middle. Jordan Love overthrows him by a yard. Again, another 60-yard touchdown. So we've seen it with our own eyes that they're quite clearly scheming big plays for him. and he's athletic enough to make those big plays. If Jordan Love can hit him, he's going to absolutely blow up and have a huge game at some point. He's going to have a 20-odd pointer at some point.
You think it's
Similar
coming?
to what? Similar to what Laporta had, last week. Their roles are pretty much identical. But Laporta's made good on his usage so far, where Musgrave's been a little bit unlucky. Look at his, for a tight end, his yards per catch 16.6, 12.5. Some tight ends are like Zach Ertz. He's about 3 yards.
He's not in the Zach Ertz mode, is he?
No, and like these are the tight ends that when
even Hawk doesn't get down the field too much, does he?
No, Hawk's he's just a compiler. Hawkinson's just a compiler. Like these tight ends, when they hit, they have massive games. And there's a massive game coming for Luke Musgrave shortly.
Tonight?
Quite possibly.
6'6", 18 stone.
Do you want to stop him?
Try and tackle him, Anth.
What did he run at the combine, Anth? What was his?
Let's have a look.
I think he did. I think he put up a really good time as well for his size and.
4.61.
Christ. I mean, that's rapid for someone that size, eh?
Yeah. Do you know what, Blandy? I might shot him in somewhere myself.
I think he's still on the waiver in our home league, Baz. And you're desperate. I mean, you're in desperate need of a tight end, Bill.
I've had every tight end going after 4 weeks. I've had everyone in for a training camp.
Question from Philly Mike, OG. Thanks for the question, mate. Is Donify and Wicks a sneaky captain? So this might be on for you, Blandy. What's his captain like about?
DFS, Anth. This is DFS showdown lineup.
Whoa, this is next level stuff. I love it.
I think if you're playing in GPP, then yeah, why not stick him in? He's probably going to be really low owned, and if he does happen to catch a long touchdown, then yeah, he's an absolute smash in that spot. If you were just playing in cash, then I think it'd be pretty risky playing cash lineups. So yeah, if you're playing in tournaments, then yeah, why not build a few lineups and have him as a captain in one? But if you're just playing cash, I think it's pretty risky. Love Jones, Wicks, GB kicker. Yeah, I mean, I don't play hardly. Well, to be honest, I don't play any showdown, so I mainly play cash DFS on the main slates on a Sunday. Any advice on captain? I think I saw Jordan Love's projected to be the highest, but again, that's score. If you're playing cash, that's a safe option. If you're trying to take down a tournament, then yeah, someone like Wicks would be a contrarian play. Anth, can you just have a look at Josh Reynolds? Just pull him up, please. I just want to see if there's anything about him practicing. Just any news? No, because Reynolds went into the last game questionable with a groin, and although he played, he was just out there running wind sprints. If that's the same tonight, you'd have to check. But Khalif Raymond might be a sneaky flyer as another contrarian captain for GPP. Yeah, Watson is supposed to be on a snap count. I have seen that. So you would imagine him and Wicks would split that role. But yeah, I don't play any showdown, so you're probably not asking the right person. But just generally from the general DFS mindset. Any news on Monty's health? Well, he's going to be active. and I think I saw.
Really, I thought it was out.
No,
Yeah,
he's
like changed, didn't it?
Yeah, it changed. There was a dodgy report. Oh, it was what did he say? Miscommunication. So Monty's going to play, and I did see that he's going to play his usual role. You know what that's worth. Don't know.
What's your thoughts on Gibbs so far?
Very good.
Really?
I think I think he's excellent. I just think they need to find his role. I think the issue he's having at the moment is that he's struggling with pass blocking, and it's once his pass blocking improves to a point where they can trust him, they can then start thinking about using him as a 3-down back. So that's been his main issue so far. But
it was strange his usage last week, Blandy, wasn't it? He seemed to get a lot of rushing touches and not many catches out the backfield with Monty.
Yeah,
you would have thought it was the other way around. Well, we sort of previewed it as being the other way around, didn't we? That we think he's best used in getting the ball in space and using his speed.
Yeah, I think that's going to be his game going forward. I think it was just a case of him last week. It was just needs must. I think.
Who do you start, Gibbs or James Conner?
I would start Gibbs.
What, because of Connor's matchup, or?
Yeah, and he's just a more explosive player.
He's done.
To be fair, like Connor's done really, really well so far early in the year, but he's just not a player that particularly excites you, is he?
No, but I think he's back to that. Cardinals are doing better than we thought, and he's putting up some good numbers, and he's the clear RB1, and he's finding the end zone. So,
but like you see, it's all rushing work, though, isn't it?
It is.
They're taking him off the field. They're taking him off the field for passing work, and the fear is if the 49ers end up blowing him out, and do they just take him off the field for the passing work in those situations as well? And then, you're left with a very shaky floor, then, aren't you?
No,
that would be my concern.
Do you start Monty or over Gibbs tonight?
No,
I'd have a go on Gibbs tonight.
Yeah, I think I'd go on Gibbs as well. Actually, I'm pretty certain I'd play Gibbs over Monty tonight.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you think they're just going to use Monty for the sort of when they need the short yardage and the goal line work because he's that bit more of a bigger body than Gibbs?
Yeah,
but they don't really want to ride him too much.
No, not at the moment. Not
with his injury or his fitness or whatever you want to say.
Yeah. Right, is that us, Anth?
That's about it. Just look at no questions flooding in.
No,
have we got it?
I need to get some sleep in before the game starts.
Oh, you getting
all
back
right?
up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be up. Good
luck
for
you, Mike.
Good luck
for you, Mike. Should be a good game tonight, shouldn't it? I think.
Yes. Yeah.
Plenty of points.
Fingers crossed there's plenty of points, but Thursday night games are, generally shit. But hopefully there's plenty of points. Divisional game as well. Divisional games can also be cagey.
A lot on the line.
Yeah.
Right. See you later. Peace out.
Night. 4 night cheap.
Good luck with all your matches this weekend.
Enjoy. See you next week.